beautiful, the sunsets are amazing, and I'm eerily waking up every morning fully dressed. So what better time to continue my previous Crepypasta vs. Horror video and find out who'd win with 6 more characters. But unlike last time, the rules today are that there will be no draws and an odd number of rounds to make sure that there are no ties. Yes, I have been wearing that just to make that joke. Round 1, the Rake vs. Kayako. The Rake is described as a creature that looks like a bony, naked man with sharp claws. It likes killing its victims when they are completely unaware of its presence. It has no nose and pale grey skin. When attacking, its mouth unhinges, revealing hundreds of teeth. When not provoked, it just stares, its eyes glowing directly into your soul. Kayako fell madly in love with a college professor despite the fact that she was married. She wrote obsessively about him in her diary, which her husband found and murdered her after believing she was having an affair. He then drowned their young son in the bath and hid the bodies in the attic when Kayako's ghost killed him by hanging him by her hair. The family rises ghosts due to their rage and sorrow, notably Kayako, who leaves a curse on the house. Both are creepy and dangerous, although the Rake doesn't require you going into a certain house. Kayako, however, seems to be more likely to kill her victims. But the Rake is one of the few creepypastas to receive enormous online attention, but very little of that is sexy anime drawings and fanfictions. This keeps the character creepy, which gives it this legacy which is rare to see online, as internet horror characters do tend to become the subject of ridicule once reaching the point of fangirls and licensed Halloween costumes. I feel this great example of an internet horror creature deserves a point for Team Crepypasta. Round 2, Sally Williams vs. Carrie White. Before I talk about these two characters, I'd like to make a warning that Sally's backstory may be triggering to victims of sexual assault. I'll put an annotation here and link in the description if you wish to skip this part, thank you. Sally was a young 8-year-old girl who was raped and killed by her uncle. She came back as a vengeful spirit covered in blood and dirt, uttering the words, "Play with me." This story is actually really creepy. Not her coming back as a ghost, but everything happens before that. One scene that really stood out to me when reading it is the scene where the uncle was helping her get dressed for bed. It is really uncomfortable due to the atmosphere and dialogue. Carrie was a teenage girl with telekinetic powers. She was very shy and lonely and raised by a religious fanatic who would throw her in a prayer closet whenever she misbehaved. She had her first menstrual period in a school gymnasium showers in front of all her classmates, and she thought she was bleeding to death as her mother's bizarre religious beliefs kept her from ever telling her what it was. On prom night, she selected prom queen after her bullies slipped fake voting ballots into the box, and went on stage to accept her crown. They poured pig's blood all over her. People began to laugh at her, causing her to use her telekinetic powers to burn down the school, killing lots of students. The nice character gone evil trope is very common, especially in Crepypasta. Even stories that don't include a backstory to a monster have inspired fan fictions where the monster was originally bullied and misunderstood and a teenager. This has created the term the Jeff formula, which is really fitting because of all the blank the killer characters which have been created. But these two stories are far from that, and the Sally story is especially interesting as the spooky ending isn't really necessary. Though the story does try to make things scary of a gory ghost child, the true horror is done by a human character, and it's especially terrifying as it's a crime that sadly does exist. But despite how good I think this story is at being unnerving, Carrie becomes the scarier and more powerful character, so I'm going to give this point to her. Number 3, Eyeless Jack vs. Jason Voorhees. Eyeless Jack's character is very mysterious and has an unknown origin. There are countless fan theories and fan fictions about him, but I'm going to focus on the original story where very little is known. He's a creature that extracts his victims' kidneys and eats them. Though no powers are mentioned, he does seem to have a demonic feel to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he exists in another plane and just visits this world to feed. He wears a blue mask with black empty eye holes dripping a black fluid. What I find really creepy about him is how he stands over someone's bed looking down at them, similar to that of a sleep paralysis hallucination. Jason Voorhees suffered from physical deformities that led him to cruelty and bullying from other kids at Camp Crystal Lake. Once he ran down the pier to escape from them, but fell into the lake. Unable to swim, he drowned due to the camp counselors being too busy making out to save him. However, a year later the counselors died, and many other people started to die years later because Jason's mother was killing them. However, she was killed eventually, and Jason came back to avenge his mother. He has superhuman strength and can't really die. Though no weaknesses are described about Eyeless Jack, I think it's safe to assume that he would have very difficulty killing Jason. I mean, Jason lived through countless sequels, a fight against a dream demon, and government scientists were unable to kill him, which led him to still being alive 500 years later. So Jason wins this point, leading horror to a victory. Of course, this isn't saying horror is superior to Crepypasta. Sometimes more mystery and a lack of immortality gives more realism, and gives victims more of a chance of survival, which makes things much more tense, which is why I'm not so fond of all these Crepypasta theories that all of them are immortal. I adore both, and both have their fair share of awesomeness and awfulness. And I hope you enjoyed this comparison of the characters and their abilities. If there are any related topics or characters you want to see against each other, let me know in the comments. Enjoy October minus the giant house spiders, and stay creepy.